Really wanted to find out who my father was, and for the case not to go how I was planning it, I really thought it was going to go different than what it was, but well, I really feel like it should have been over with because, you know, the first time I heard that Jay-Z probably was my father when I was 8 years old, my mom came up to me and was like, "Hey Rob, you know I got something to tell you. That's your dad for real. You don't just say this type of person is your father, Jay-Z." It is important that I know who my biological father is. I don't know how he's feeling. Like I would hope he would think about.
So yeah, it's starting to look like there are way more skeletons in Jay-Z's closet than anyone expected, and Blue Ivy may have just stumbled onto one. This comes right after reports that he's been working overtime to keep his alleged son and Blue's supposed half-brother Rymir Satterthwaite quiet. But here's where it gets messy. Blue reportedly wants absolutely nothing to do with him. At first, people assumed Jay was just trying to keep this under wraps because of claims he got Rymir's mother pregnant when she was only 16. But baby, it's starting to look way deeper than that.
She met Jay-Z and had intercourse with him. How old was she?
I would say I think she was about 16, 17, or 16, just turning 16 or 17. I know it was one of them.
And Jay-Z was what age?
I wouldn't happen to know. I think was he in his 20s?
I read 22.
Oh, yeah.
I think I read 22, but he was in his 20s.
Yes, I wouldn't happen to know his age, but 22, I'm pretty sure if they put that out there, then
yeah,
that's what his age was.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just want to point out to our audience that Jay-Z having sex with a minor would make that child rape because she was underage at the time. And then furthermore, the fact that he took her from one state to another state, I imagine would be in violation of state laws.
Wow.
So
now, for those who aren't fully caught up on this whole situation between Rymir and Jay-Z, it all goes back to when Rymir accused Jay of getting his late mother, Wanda Satterthwaite, pregnant back in 1992 and then leaving her to deal with everything alone. Right before she passed, Wanda reportedly submitted a signed affidavit through the Daily Mail, detailing how Jay allegedly got her pregnant. She said they met through a mutual friend, and that same night, Jay convinced her to hook up at his aunt's apartment in Brooklyn. Supposedly, they used protection, but it failed, and she ended up pregnant with Rymir. Before all this came to light, Wanda had already tried multiple times to reach Jay, but according to her, he made it nearly impossible. Because of that, she had no choice but to list her then-boyfriend, Robert Graves, on Rymir's birth certificate. But once they split, he removed his name, and Wanda went right back to trying to contact Jay-Z. She even pushed for child support, but allegedly, he used his connections to get the case dismissed. They're back, and Fourth reportedly continued all the way up until her death in 2019. That's when Rymir stepped in and took things into his own hands, going full force at Jay-Z. And just like before, Jay allegedly kept dodging him, but Rymir wasn't backing down. His godmother, Lily Colley, claimed Jay was initially open to doing a paternity test, but once new lawyers got involved, everything changed. According to her, they realized there was more at risk, especially with claims that Wanda was underage at the time. Since then, she says there have been mistakes, oversights, and even collusion between legal teams, which is why they've continued fighting. Later, Rymir and Lily sat down with journalist Liz Crokin, where they laid everything out about what they've allegedly faced since speaking out. And if that name sounds familiar, it should. Liz has been covering Jay-Z for years, especially surrounding the mysterious case of Kathy White. So when she heard about Rymir, she jumped right on it.
That it seemed that Jay-Z, via his people, were willing to work something out behind the scenes, and then all of a sudden that stopped. Why? Why do you think that he is refusing to take a paternity test and stopped, working with you all behind the scenes? What was driving that, in your opinion?
Well, part of it was a rumor that was told that he didn't like the fact that this particular case was in the public. And he had a problem with Rymir putting it in the public, which was not Rymir, was his mother. So basically, in a nutshell, I just believe that was a big part of it. He didn't like the fact that it was in public. There was a time that Mr. Carter was trying to resolve the matter in the very beginning, and he was doing it in the best interest of Rymir. And then somewhere he left his heart and started thinking with his head.
Do you think part of it is because Wanda was 16?
Yeah, well, definitely, that's the big part of it. The allegations that we have, that the affidavit says that Wanda was 16 and he was 22. That's in Wanda's own words.
Right.
So therefore, yeah, that would be something that would make some people uncomfortable.
Right. Well, it's a crime. But for the record, you did tell me that Wanda told you that she did tell Jay-Z that she was of legal age. Is that true?
Right. She did tell me that she told him she was 18 or something.
And remember when I mentioned Jay, Z allegedly threatened Remir. According to Lily, things got serious fast. She claimed that after refusing to drop the case, both she and Remir were being followed by armed men. Remir even went to the police, but nothing really came out of it. Yep. He had to go to the police about several things as people, like he said, came onto the property. Some of them knocked on Ramir's window. They wanted Ramir to drop the case. Disrespect early on. There's been a lot of what they call intimidation. Now get this, Remir also tried taking matters into his own hands with a DNA ancestry test, hoping to trace his roots back to Jay's family, but somehow, that test was allegedly tampered with, and he never even got the results. And here's the wild part, that same method was reportedly used by another woman, Letitia Masseur, who also claimed Jay was her father. After tracing her ancestry to his family, she allegedly received a payout and then went completely silent. So Remir tried the same route, but this time, it looks like it got shut down before it could go anywhere.
Comment. That's basically say they didn't give me my paperwork back. Like, you know, I did the swab and spit in it and then get sent it to them. And when I called to try to get my information, basically it was an error, and I never heard of that.
There was an error. They wouldn't give you your paperwork.
Yeah, they want to give me my paperwork from Ancestry.com. Now you have people saying use 23andMe, and I just want people to know, like, the courts got my DNA. So if they wanted to test my DNA, for me just to keep spending all this money, these guys can test it. It's Jay-Z and them, you know, and it's the judges. They have everything they need. So obviously I'm not out of the fight, and I won't stop. It's not just about no Jay-Z. I'm not just chasing Jay-Z. That's not what it's about. My mom passed away fighting this case until she was gone. So that's more important to me than...
Now here's where things take another turn. According to Lily, Beyonce wasn't exactly comfortable with the idea of Jay-Z resolving this situation, especially after she gave birth to Blue Ivy. She allegedly didn't like the idea of Jay acknowledging Remir because it would raise serious questions in the public eye. So reportedly, she pushed for everything to stay hidden, which may explain why this case has dragged on for years.
Believe that Beyonce may have been one of the reasons why there wasn't a resolution.
I do believe that. Like in the very beginning, they didn't have a daughter, and there was seemed like we were understanding there was complications in getting conceived, etc.
Right.
And I felt like that would make some women, and you know, seemed like her, she would fit that bill, uncomfortable about him having a fully grown son with a talent.
Right.
So I do believe that she had a problem. If it was true, she would have a problem with the fact that Ramir was in the picture or coming in the picture, because that was a vulnerable time.
Right.
But clearly now, 10 years later, 12 years later, you would think somebody would say, hey, let's just get this.
Now, a lot of people assume Jay-Z was spending big money to keep this quiet just to protect his image. But apparently it wasn't just that. Reports suggest he and Beyonce were more worried about Blue Ivy finding out because it could seriously damage their relationship. There have already been rumors putting strain on things, including claims that Kathy White was actually Blue's biological mother, so adding a secret child into the mix. Yeah, that would be a breaking point. And according to reports, that's exactly what happened. Blue allegedly found out when Remir filed a federal lawsuit in the United States District Court for the Central District of California, claiming Jay-Z is his biological father. He accused him of fraud, hiding evidence, emotional distress, and avoiding a DNA test. He said he just wanted the truth, especially considering his mother's alleged age at the time. Jay's legal team fired back, accusing Remir and his mother of making everything up and asking for the case to be thrown out. After a long legal back and forth, Remir eventually dropped the lawsuit, but that didn't mean he was done speaking out.
Hey everybody, it's your boy Ramirez here. I just want to get on here and let everybody know the updates, what's going on. It's been a crazy couple weeks, y'all. I want to let y'all know that I have not stopped my fight. You know, I did withdraw my case. It's for a reason, y'all. It's not because I'm stopping with it or not going to refile it or anything like that. It's just a lot going on behind closed doors. That's only one case that we withdrew for right now. But it's a lot going on. You know how this industry works. These judges, these lawyers, these high celebrity people, they try to use all different types of tactics and call it what you want, bully tactics and different types of stuff to, you know, slow it down and just change the narrative. So it's like, hey, we got to step back and play chess, not checkers. So we sitting back and we just observing everything right now. I just ask y'all to keep the support. Keep the support. I have not gotten any DNA tests. I have not gotten any settlement, anything like that.
Now, obviously, if Blue Ivy really did find all this out, she wasn't about to just brush it off. For years, she reportedly saw her parents as these flawless, powerful figures. But now, that image might be cracking. Between the Kathy White rumors, allegations about Jay-Z's past behavior, and now this situation with Rymir, people are definitely raising eyebrows. There are even claims things have gotten so tense that Blue wants distance from both Jay-Z and Bianca and reportedly has no interest in building any relationship with Rymir. Now, these are still rumors, but if there's any truth to them, it could explain why Jay has suddenly been doing interviews, painting Blue as his biggest supporter. In a recent interview with GQ, Jay claimed Blue showed her support during a lawsuit, saying she wore a jersey with his name to school and that it brought him to tears. But again, that's his version of events. Meanwhile, the internet has thoughts. One person said Jay-Z hasn't spoken much, but if he does, more kids might come forward. This can't be the only one. Another added, he had the chance to handle this privately and didn't. That man just wants justice for his mom. But now I want to hear from you. What do you think about all this? Do you believe Blue Ivy really exposed Jay-Z's alleged secret child? And do you think Jay is denying Rymir because there's something bigger he's trying to hide? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to check out this next messy story.